Is that an octopus in your pants, or are you just happy to see me? See what I did there? Go Red Wings! From Octopi Experts Woodward Sports.
Welcome to Woodward Wings. I am Justin Satawa. Thank you for tapping in. Not the best game for our Detroit Red Wings, and I've already seen the comments about yesterday's post game. I apologize. I was at a Hanukkah party last night, but I will get into tonight's game and last night's game because I did watch them both, and there is a lot to talk about. So thank you all for tapping in today. No Spenny. Spenny's enjoying a wonderful night off as he deserves because he has been working his ass off for the company, but so is your Detroit Red Wings. And I will have everything that you need tonight for your Red Wings postgame show. So let's start off right here with Jason Pratt. Utah gave up the game last night because they had 8 shots in the last 40 minutes last night, and they were rested for the Wings tonight. And you saw that in the early goings of the game. I don't think the Red Wings played a bad game in any regard. Honestly, I think their goalie had a great game. I thought that the Red Wings really responded to being down, and the score doesn't properly reflect the way that game went for the Red Wings. The Red Wings were doing a lot of great things on offense. They were controlling the puck, and outside of the few, A grade chances they gave up, that Talbot was a little squeaky today. I'm not gonna lie. I thought that Talbot could have played a little bit better, but at the end of the day, the defense wasn't great either. But I didn't think it was an awful game. We're still sitting pretty well in the Eastern Conference. We were first today. I think the Bruins won. If I'm not mistaken, I heard that on the broadcast. So that's going to bump us down to 2. But we're right there in the hunt, and it's not in a bet. Sherratt was watching. Absolutely. I thought that Sherratt just a lot of our D. This is the difference between when we win and lose games, though. It's when we clear the guys away from the front of the net and allow our goaltenders to see clear vision shots that we do great. But and it's not even that too, because I don't think Talbot played great either. I mean, you saw it in that last goal. That puck squeaks right through, and Suter has to save him for that. And bad bounce hits Talbot's pad and goes right to Gunther's stick. Nothing you can do there. I don't think that it was as bad of a game. I thought that was a really competitive game, especially on a back to back. That and Jason Pratt said it. They looked rested. They looked better. They looked like they had more jump from the go. I'm talking about the Mammoth, where I'm just ready to chalk this one up. You had that's a good team over there. They're fighting for a spot in the Western Conference playoffs, and on a back to back when they had a hot tender. I'm not too mad about that performance. The power play did look discombobulated though. I was not a fan of that. I thought Max Blumman tweeted that. But here we go. See, and I don't die on the sword of analytics, but analytics are a good tool to kind of just see your view. And 52% of the time, the Red Wings win that game just according to the opportunities that they had. Like I'm looking at their scoring chances. They had 8 A grade scoring chances within the hash marks in that perfect A grade slot area. They have to capitalize. They had a lot of great tips, a lot of great rebounds, and the Mammoth just happened to be the team clearing the pucks today. The Red Wings were not. And I just think that that's where this game sits. We got a couple games on the road trip where the puck swung our way, and we were able to win games that we weren't supposed to win. And he was sliding over the place, looked like Reimer. I don't hate that because there was no goal where I was sitting there and I was like, damn, like he really just did that. Where I felt like at least Talbot didn't have a better chance getting in front of that puck and making a save. But their playmakers showed up tonight and they made plays and they were putting up points. I mean, you see on the Clint Keller's on the interview right now on TNT, and he had 2 points. He had a goal and an assist. And when you are the most effective guy on the ice, your team's gonna win. And there were, but I and the power play. I mean, the where this team lies and wins and losses a lot of times is the special teams, and when we've gotten numb to that. But the power play today was not great. A lot of mishandles, a lot of bad passing, just no A grade opportunities, and a lot of people just not willing to take the shot. Like I know we had a lot of shots, but by the stats, but there was a lot of times in the A grade areas where we need some guys to get up there and rip some pucks. And I know it's an old, oh, shoot it guy, like shoot. But there is an element of making sure that you get pucks in the net and the proper opportunities. Um, Barry McCockiner. The puck stopping so bad. Yeah, it is. Wings don't like putting pucks on the net and getting rebounds. No, they don't. But I will give them credit tonight. They did a great job at getting in front of the net and tipping, especially that Soderblom, Danielson, and Casper line, which I continue to praise. And they're in the 70 percentile um, of lines, and then they're really of expected goals, and their goals are not showing right now. They're not getting the puck luck, and you saw it with DeBrincat earlier in the year when DeBrincat was really cold and struggling, and he had 0 goals, and then now he is second in the league in the NHL. Like the goals will come. And now we're waiting for that for Casper, and now it's that entire third line. And I really think once they really start, like their analytics for expected goals are off the charts. They are going to be a great line. They just need to start getting pucks, and they're doing what they should be doing, which is going to net. Soderblom, that big ass in front of the net, making it tough for goalies to see. And I like that. They like what they're bringing, and it's great to see. Thoughts? JVR was pretty mad in the power play tonight. It happens. And that's gonna happen when you sub out Patrick Kane, and you know me and Spenny's opinion. We think Patrick Kane's a great power play player, and when he has the top, like he's a cold blooded killer when he has the puck on his stick. Like that is what Patrick Kane is. That is how we see him. He is so necessary on the power play, and there's a reason he's called the power play merchant by some, because he's so dominant on the power play. And you saw the flow just completely discombobulated with I'm forgetting who they had in their place, but or JVR and JVR in that spot. It's just not ideal. It's not even the remote capacity that how good it could be with Patrick Kane. I think it's unfair to judge them entirely off of one game like this. Like this next comment, we have to come out better on the power play when the first unit's not doing anything. Change it up ASAP. Oh, I thought that said change it up and put ASP. I apologize. Change it up ASAP. I don't think you have to change it up. I think you just need it. Kane to be back. He's off a couple days. When you're like spent a gray bush, you gotta take your lumps to make sure you're healthy, and sometimes an extended absence to make sure that the body's right is what you need, especially after you put on a Superman performance in Chicago. I'm not worried though. This game didn't worry me at all. I thought the Wings showed a lot of fight and a lot of good things in a bad game. Also a bad game I thought from, like I said, Talbot. Talbot did not play well. But one guy I really want to hit on though is Emmett Finney. This Emmett Finney was all over the ice tonight. He was making plays offensively, defensively, and he was just a catalyst. And honestly, the best player on that first line, just truly being a motor, looking like the young buck he is with the short break with the back to back going. I really want to give him a lot of credit. He was really putting on a lot of end. I like what I saw, but there was a lot of tired legs for sure. I'm going to go down here and we're going to take a look at Cam Talbot with a negative performance according to the analytics. He let up a whole 1.73 goals above expected. That's essentially war for goalies for all those baseball nerds out there. It wasn't a good game. I think we can just all land on that for Talbot. It wasn't a good game, but offensively, the numbers for any of these lines aren't showing a lot of great offensive chances. So even though we did get a couple great chances on the power plays, I think 5-on-5 we just were not effective enough today to be the team that we were looking for. How are we feeling about Leonard on the power play? I nothing special. I mean, he's a career AHL guy. He's solid, but he's not good enough to stay there. And I don't think he's physical enough to be on those bottom lines. When those bottom lines are really buzzing and playing physical, like they're a threat. And I really do. I'm so sick of 2-on-1s with no shot. Kyle, I agree. I mean, it's ridiculous. It literally is ridiculous. That's the one rule. The one rule of 2-on-1s is you have to get at least one shot, and you got to make it happen. Was that Rasmussen shorthanded chance? Yeah, it was. And we need to capitalize on stuff like that, like getting those shorthanded chances. You got to make plays. It's the nature of the game. And today, the I have to call them the Jazz. The Mammoth made play after play, time and time again. and it was the little detail plays too. It wasn't even just the big plays. And then the backbreaker, I mean, the one timer in the slot, just wide open. Just like I'm sitting there, I'm like, someone cover him, please, someone cover him. Just now, we want to see. Getting came back on Saturday, we will find. Yeah, and that's why I'm not worried about the power play, Jason. I think that the power play is as good as it is. I believe I saw today it was in the top 10, which has been way better from the start of the season. And I think like we're getting to a point where like the sustainability of this team is starting to show. Like it's not just, obviously you got to see the March and the April that have cursed this team over the past 2 years. With that being said, though, you can't be blind to the fact the power PK is better, the power play is still really good, the 5-on-5 scoring is better, the goaltending appears to be better. Right now, we are in a bad Cam Talbot stretch. We've identified that it's been the last 3 or 4 games, but right now Gibson's playing great, and he played great last night. Which we can talk a little bit more about last night too. I mean, we don't have to keep this as a sobs fest. I mean, we didn't do the post game for last night. Last night was a great game. And honestly, one of the bright spots of both today's game and yesterday's game was ASP. ASP looks a lot more confident, and he's really impressing me. The way he's trying to carry the puck inside the zone, really jitterbugging across the blue line. Really impressive stuff from a guy who was starting to look a little pedestrian a couple games ago. Really found his gear. Obviously been in the film room and they've been doing some drills at practice to make sure that he feels that he can make those moves. But yesterday the snipe, he comes down the wing, just snipes top titty. That's what I expect from him. He's that type of defenseman where he gets the puck in his stick. He's a fourth forward out there, and that's the skill of a forward. And that was a beautiful snipe. And then obviously to break it's just been on an absolute tear lately, sniping everyone with the 2 goals yesterday, and that's what you needed. I mean, that's some plaguing some demons too. I mean, that Islanders team has had your number. They have just dominated you the first 2 games of the season, especially that last game. I was at that game 5-0. It was so brutal. I was guzzling down beer because I just couldn't. I was so pissed off because they were playing so bad. It was so piss poor effort. Where are we sitting in the standings? We're doing very good. Got to nip up the losses and not get into losing streak. And that's the thing. We've been able to nip those losing streaks and been able to go on some winning streaks to even them out, just to keep afloat. And I personally, I don't think what the Panthers are doing is sustainable. I don't think they have enough offense. Their defense is obviously up to par. I think Tampa's as legit, but Montreal has proven to have some up and down nature to them. I mean, I deal. I'm with the Atlantic's playoff spot is the spot. That is what you are shooting for, what you need. That's where you're going to see this team hopefully take that next jump. Back to back afternoon games this weekend. It's gross. I agree, man. I'm going to the one on Sunday. I'm actually pretty hyped about it because we're downtown at Gillies, so I'm gonna pull up there right after I go to the game, and watch and do the Lions broadcast. So I mean, if you're at the game on Sunday, hit me up. I'm gonna be there. Caps game. It's Western Michigan Appreciation Night. Gonna get myself a 6 centennial Western Michigan hoodie. It's gonna be dialed. Costa needs. I agree. Costa needs to get some starts in January. Carmen, you're absolutely right. He's been playing so well down there because you also don't want him to start playing poorly or even less to the standard he's been over the last, honestly, the whole season or since he's come back from injury. Let's be fair. He's been on a tear, and you want to keep that confidence. When you see what happened with Wallstead, Wallstead right now is one of the best goalies in the NHL over there in Minnesota, and he's in the same draft class as Costa. Costa's probably ready. He at least needs to be able to have the opportunity to show that he's ready. So I do expect in January that he will be a call up. But enough of me yapping. Let me hear some more from you. Any thoughts on the game? Any player? Anyone you want to talk about? We can go in depth. I My water is just off the screen. I'm going to keep talking, but I desperately need it. But get your comments in. Let me hear your thoughts. Any concerns? Positive. I'm down to talk about any player. Honestly, I'm so happy Jonathan Berger's gone. Seriously, I was so sick of Johnny Burgers. Dude was so bad. Everyone always touted him. Oh, he's an offensive weapon. He's an offensive weapon. He's so good. And then he never could score. He could never put up points, and he was soft. Like good riddance to St. Louis. I was so sick of that guy, and I know he had a good nickname. He had a good goal against Columbus 2 years ago, but I don't hang my hat on one goal. I hang my hat on performances, and he did never had a good performance. Seeing nothing from the chat so far. All right, guys, it's all good. I can yap. I am chief master of the yapping committee. I don't hate Sherrod. He has been good this year, but some games just reminds me of what I want on the third pair instead. Exactly. And that's the talking point. Like, we are still at a place where we are over leveraging players. Sherrod is a third pair defenseman all day, every day, but he's playing on the second pair. And that's something that we need to look into at the trade deadline. And that's the thing. And this is where I think I differ from a lot of people. I don't believe that you were a Quinn Hughes away while giving up three high level assets from being a cup contender. Look, Minnesota is now a cup contender by trading for Quinn Hughes. I don't think the Red Wings would have this year. They would have had to still make some moves and make some things happen to get them to that point where that's where I would have loved Quinn Hughes. He's amazing. But giving up Edvinson, Casper, Finney, and two first round picks, it's just it gets to a point because that's what you would have to do because Marco Rossi is more equivalent to Raymond than he is to Casper or to Danielson. Talbot last year of his contract cost will be up next year. Rasmussen next. But I don't want Kyle. I know I appreciate you showing me the pathway, and the pathway is important. But I can't be okay with that. Costa needs to have games now. You need to know that you can lean on him because for what John Gibson has shown you so far, is there's going to be at least some type of inconsistency in his game over this period of him being in Detroit, where it's not Vesna John Gibson, and we never expected that. It's somewhere in between a very solid B plus goaltender that Costa's still most likely going to have to carry the weight if this team's going to go anywhere next year. And the Central is a gauntlet with the leaders in Colorado and Dallas. Oh yeah, I'm glad we're in the East. Even though it's so tight, there's no one who's really pulling away outside of Tampa. That's why it is kind of nice being in the East outside of how competitive it is to get. Like the low wildcard spots are not competitive to get in the West, but you can't be in one of those top three divisional spots in the West. Bry guys, yeah, 100%. He needs 10 to 20 games. You need to have a significant runway because even if he comes up here and gets nipped up, you need to know what those things are. You need to have enough data to put him down in GR and know that you need to fix blank. You need to have, which is the thing we've always killed him on, the better lateral movement. Your glove head needs to improve. Your 5-hole needs to, whatever it looks like. That's what we need to know because he wasn't necessarily challenged in that Sabres game last year, and there's not enough data to back up what he actually needs. Lots of missed chances when out shooting, especially off great looks, just bad puck luck some nights. That's what I chalk it up to, Lee. This was just an off night. Not even an off night because I didn't think they played awful. I thought they played solid. The win meter had him. It just the pucks weren't going your way. A lot of falls on bad edges tonight. I saw Larkin blow a couple tires, and that's the stuff type of thing that happens when you're not getting the luck that you necessarily need. Well, Donkey Talbot was absolutely terrible tonight, but it didn't help with the lack of effort out there. The Wings look tired. I hate sometimes when the team plays down to their opponent's man, but they're absolutely trash. I wouldn't say they're trash because they still got some solid players over there, but you're right. They weren't up to par from what we know the standard to be the playoff and hockey standard that McClellan has set. His team has played a lot better hockey over this stretch. But I don't think it was awful. If that was, I think that was a B minus game, and there's going to be you can't expect an A game every single time. Especially Jason said it earlier in the broadcast. They pulled their guys. They were getting blown out last night, and they called up the dogs, got ready for tonight. The Wings were in a brutal. I mean, they did put everything into their game last night on a back to back. If you could take one, I'm not going to complain about it, especially when you're coming off a road trip when you went 4-1. Like, let's be real. We got games to play with right now where, you got the Caps coming in, another split, and that's a good, successful 10-game stretch. It's going to be, 6-4. You take 6-4 all day, that's a playoff team. 6-4 over a road and home stretch is a playoff team. And I'm willing to hang my cap on that. Yeah, a couple mishandles. Zutro's own turnovers on the third goal were killer. Yeah, the turnovers are killer. And you saw the Wings got hemmed in their zone a couple times where they couldn't get the puck out, and it was just turnover after turnover, turnover, and they build and they really lead to some troubling chances. I, I'm I'm chilling. I don't. I'm not afraid of the game that they played. I thought they played a solid game. I thought they played it was still a gritty game. Like in these types of games, like are they still trying? Are they still playing gritty? They're not calling it off like the Mammoth did last night, just so they could try to play better the next game. Like last game they were coming after it and they were really trying to 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 take it to. Oh my god, I'm blanking right now. Who did they play yesterday? The Islanders, yeah. They were taking to the Islanders and they were really making it tough for them in the third and coming back in that game. That's where I'm not upset about this game at all. You can't win all the games. We have Washington 2 times and then Dallas for a Christmas break. Probably got to go to 1-1-1 would be nice. I'm not gonna expect 2 wins against those are 2 playoff opponents. Logan Thompson's playing like the best goalie in the NHL right now, and Dallas is Dallas. They're studded head to toe with stars, taking cheap deals. I'd love to go 1-1-1. I think that would put us in a pretty solid position to go into Christmas break, where you're probably the 3 seed in the Atlantic, and you're right there. And we now have a sample size. McClellan era 97 points over a entire season. He's coached 82 games. It's 90. He did 97 points over a whole game season sample size. That's impressive shit. That is where you're like, all right, and the team's not even ready to compete for a cup yet. And over the last 82 games, they're 97 points that'd be a top seed in the East. It really makes you think. Like you make the playoffs this year. You're really in a position to add a couple guys, and we're a dangerous team moving forward. That's my hope, at least. Maybe I'm just on the copium, but I hope not. Marco Castro needs to extra. He needs to be free of his sophomore slump. Yeah, man. I don't know what it is. He's so snake based, holding the stick so tight, can't find goals. But he's playing good hockey. He's being physical. That third line is buzzing. So he's just got to keep after it. There's no NBN situation. There's no sending him down to the minors to go find a shot. He's just got to start finding the back of that, and it will come. I mean, it's not going to come in the absolute tsunami that came with the brinket, but it will come, and I know that. Let's get these 6 points before the break and get ready for a smash full of games before. Yeah, man, this schedule coming up is gauntlet, man. We play all playoff teams until all the Olympic break. So if we are in position to make the playoffs by the Olympic break, I'm starting to feel really good about this team and about making the playoffs. I said the other day, my playoff meter's at a 6. I'm really starting to get a feeling that this team might be able to do it, especially with Gibson coming on. If Gibson can really come on like this and play that like this well, Talbot will get out of this funk and this stretch he's been in. And I'm feeling pretty down about the goaltending, at least better than I felt in the last couple of weeks. Poor Casper, when he does get something, he does set up someone they never finish. Yeah, the whole line isn't finishing right now. They're gonna find it though. I mean, it took Casper a little bit last year, a slow start. Hopefully, a slow start again, and they'll find it. Maybe it takes some extra skates over the Christmas break with each other, but we'll see. I mean, it's too early to tell. But thank you guys all for tapping in. I appreciate you guys being here. USN Rocks, Jason, Kyle, Bry Guy, and everyone else in here. Womp Donkey. We'll shout out everyone. You guys, this is why we do it. We're all just a bunch of hockey nerds loving the game. And it's a pleasure to talk with you guys with it. I'm sorry about yesterday. It's at a Hanukkah party. Just came back from a Christmas party as well. So and Spenny is just working his booty off. So I don't know about Spenny. I will be here. I will be doing a post game show for sure on Saturday for the Caps game. Sunday you can ask us questions on the post game show on the Lions show. We'll talk about it, but that's a Lions day, so we'll be only doing Lions coverage. But tomorrow on Saturday for the Caps game, I'll hook it up, and then I believe a normal episode of Woodward Wings on Saturday as well. So thank you guys all for tapping in. I hope that I wish Bert was still in the team. Eh, maybe. I mean, I don't. I think we the grit would be nice, and the secondary scoring would be nice. I don't think the contract weighs the player, but we have the cap space. So you could make that argument if you really wanted to. I don't hate it. 19 games to the Olympic break, and they're all playoff teams. So it's going to be a gauntlet, but we'll be here with you for all of them down the stretch. Have a happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. We'll catch you in the next one. From Spenny, from Justin Satawa. Peace. Have a good night.